Hello, and welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, tell a friend. Welcome to all of the new subscribers that have joined us throughout this season 12 of Married at First Sight Australia. We really appreciate your support and any comments that you might have left along the way. Okay, so this is episode 39 and 40. Oh my God. The season is done, Jamal. The season is done. What are we going to do without my favorite show?
Here's the thing with this particular season. How can I put it? This didn't work as an ensemble cast. There are some people who are really good on their own, but in terms of cast, it just didn't do much for me because they became so unlikable. Some people, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Oops.
Yes, it does. But I have a problem with the cast as well because I don't think this season had a good cast. Hello, Wendy's Front Yard. Thanks for joining us today. Um, I I think, like in the case of Athena and Adrian, I feel like they matched them because they were two sets of twins. Because obviously she would have been a better
Right.
match for him. And I don't know if they like stabbed themselves in the foot by bringing up these alternate matches that were so much better than what they actually paired together. And
Yeah, they could have done without that.
yes, I thought that that was a misfire. Hello, Susan. Welcome, welcome. Another misfire for me was bringing on someone like Jackie and Ryan, those two people, and matching them
Hmm.
together. I know that we had a lot of fun and kikis with them, but the way how Jackie broke the NDA, because I think she was the first one to do it,
She was the
then
first
Ace
one.
was second, but she kind of ruined it. She really did. Um, Her erratic behavior throughout the season at times was comical, but at times very questionable and disturbing.
I think
Um,
with Jackie, what it was is like,
mhm,
okay, we would say like, crazy Jackie, ha ha ha, that she's just being Jackie. But then when the behavior became super consistent, even more erratic, you're like, oh shit, she has
yeah,
issues. I think that's kind of, at least for me, that's the way I took her. Like, you're funny, you're kind of crazy, cool, you're good for reality TV, but then she's became more unhinged as the season go on. Then you couple that with the online social media, it's like, ooh, girl, get off.
so Susan was disappointed as well. And good evening, Marcia E. Welcome, welcome. Towards the end, though, her angry shouting outbursts that came from nowhere and her erratic turns of mood from sobbing to back to normal to screeching to laughing at inappropriate times. Like if we were in California, I would have done a 5150. Isn't that what you guys do out there with Britney
Yes.
Spears? Right. So I'd have been questioning that personally. Um, and I just thought that it was unnecessary. The
She
two of
kept
them
looking
could
for
have resolved
moments.
this season.
She kept looking for
Um,
moments. She kept looking for moments, and it was just all bad.
oh, and the failed attempt at the infidelity with Sierra. She's another one that I'm very concerned with regards to mental stability. because the way how she left the show initially was
Right.
concerning. What she brought up is this big bombshell during the final dinner party and the reunion fell flat. And
Oh,
I don't know why she would have so much aggression towards Athena. Oh, hello, Surf 2. Welcome, welcome.
okay. So we're talking
It,
about Sierra. Okay, here's my whole thing with
yeah,
Sierra. How you sit up
yeah.
here mad at Athena? Like these are text messages that you sent to Adrian. How you mad at Athena? Um, if you sent these text messages to Adrian, how did Athena get them? I'm going to need her to think about that. I'm really going to need her to use her deductive reasoning.
Oh, dear. You can't ask her to do that. You can't ask her to do that. Well, since we're talking about Little Miss Sierra, do you want to start? Do you want to go through? How do you want to do this? How do you want to do this? Do you want to do it in order of them going on the? Wait, no, we've got to talk about the dinner party.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm just getting all out of order here. All right, so let's just start with 39, which was the dinner party. It's been a month since the experiment ended, and now everyone's getting back together to reunite after the experiment. Um, all in all, only one couple stayed together, and that was Ree and Jeff. Um, and we open up with them and their little sap story about how we did it right and we didn't have any arguments and we stayed together and our plans are to go on vacation, whatever. Then we see Jamie talking about how right after final vows it all fell apart for her and Dave. He just didn't show up for her. Dave is towing the line and saying we're good friends, we just didn't work out. Then we see Karina, and she's saying that detaching from Paul has been difficult. Um, oh my God, I have a personal comment here. Why does she look like an extra from the movie Dune? And I mean the old Dune, not this new one. She just looked really weird. And then they had to focus on her Cartier jewelry. Very interesting. Paul says that Paul has started his campaign against Karina, basically saying that he went home, had an epiphany, and realized that they were a bad match because she had um, lots of crazy insecurities, and it was all her fault. And apparently, the experts were matching them together because they were not a good match. Um, Oh, and he had to repeat that she's a big snob. Anyway, next we see Athena. She admits that at the vow renewal, she wasn't ready to let go of Adrian. Um, okay. She says it took her leaving the experiment to make her feel like herself again, and she hadn't recognized that Adrian made her feel less than, and she's not okay with that. Or the way how he treated her during the experiment. Um, he wasn't that great to her, and she can recognize that now. Now, word on the curb is now remember she asked him to spend the night with her on the night of Final Vows taping. And remember, I told you guys that Jamie had went on a radio show and said that they had planned to spend the night together anyway. But she brought that into the actual taping. Okay, so after they had their night in Shangri-La, they went back home, he to Sydney, she to Perth, and apparently they were supposed to go on vacation together. But as it turns out, Adrian ditched her and took his good girlfriend Jasmine from the not the Friends and Family Week, where yes, the Friends and Family Week, that red-haired chick that came with his two twin sisters. He took Jasmine on the vacation. And Miss Boothang, Athena found out about it, and I guess that is what broke the camel's back for her.
Mm,
And
mm,
so
mm.
that's why they have broken up. She suddenly realized that he took someone else on their vacation together.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Sometimes you learn the hard way, though. Adrian says, working as a team is the most important thing for him. And once they split up, he realized that the connection wasn't strong. He feels he thinks that she feels the same way and that there are no hard feelings. AKA, I'm coming back in here again to get some punani.
Right.
That's what that told me. Next, we see Sierra, and she says she's coming into this reunion to tell certain people to get fucked. She says she's coming for Athena. She didn't owe her or Billy an explanation. She says that Athena told her during the experiment things about Adrian, said that he was stupid and couldn't spell, that he was not smart enough to run a successful business. His business is a joke. And that needs to be brought up in front of everybody at the dinner party tonight. So we see her agenda. So why are you so pressed to break them up even though they already broke up?
Exactly.
They could have left her home. All right. Then we see the supposed plot twist of all of this. But unfortunately, these two numbnuts went and released it months ago. So it was not shocking at all. It was kind of repulsive. We see Jackie and Clint in their guest room together saying it's a big secret and everybody is talking about it. I felt gross watching the two of these people together. Like Clint has really fallen down for me. Um
Clint is horrible. I was like,
he is
wow.
he is horrible. And I just don't know what else to say about him, but gross. Um, we see, let's see, oh, and she actually has the balls to say that she thinks Ryan will be happy for them. Shut up. Next, we see Ryan. He says since leaving the experiment, he heard about what was happening with Jackie and Clint. Um, he says he was highly suspicious. He called both of them. They told him nothing was going on. He says he suspects honest. He says that he respects honest communication, and Jackie lied to him many times throughout the experiment. And he's like, let's play nasty because he knows they lied. Um, Next. Oh, okay, so next we see everybody coming into the cocktail area. Let me see. Oh, we find out when Billy comes in. Um, okay, so apparently some text messages that Sierra sent to Adrian about the comments that were made about him being stupid and can't spell and his business is crap, those got shared amongst certain people. And apparently I guess they know that Sierra is going to make a big whoop about this. Um, so Billy knows about it. Athena knows about it because Adrian sent it to her. But he was okay with that until the showdown on the couches, which made no sense to me whatsoever. Um, let's see. Let me see. Jamie, Tony. Oh my God. Ashley. Oh my God. Ashley came in. Why was she there? Why was she there? Oh my God. Elliot, Beth, TJ, Veronica. Veronica came back for what? And we saw
Exactly.
Katie. I loved Katie. Katie was the only one I loved to see. So of all of the cast members, um Lauren did not come back. Tim did not come back. What was his name? Josh, that was attached to Katie. His name is Josh.
No, Tim.
No, not Katie. Sorry, Ashley.
Oh, Jake.
Jake. There you go. So Lauren, Tim, and Jake did not come back. Did I miss anybody else?
No.
Yeah, those are the only three that didn't. Oh, and Morena.
Oh yes.
Morena refused to come back because she thought somebody was going to keep her hostage again. Okay, so anything in particular you want to talk about at the cocktail party segment? The only thing that kind of blew up was when the text messages came up with Sierra and Adrian and Athena on the couch and Billy.
But that was a nothing. That was such a nothing burger because with Sierra, I understand what you thought you were doing when Adrian was the one who shared the text messages. What did you think was going to happen? She could have stayed her behind at home, and here's why. Once you found out he shared those text messages with Athena, that lets you know right away that his loyalty was with Athena up until the whole blow up of the couch session. You know, until she
Mm-hmm.
said like, oh, the Athena allegedly called him dumb. And then here's the thing. Athena owned up. She's like, yeah, I said some of that, not all of it. And here's the thing with Sierra, she just stupid because you did not contradict what Athena said. Athena said, yeah, I said some of that, and Sierra did not say no, you said all of it. She let so which lets me know you were just lying, trying to like fan the flames of Adrian against Athena for what reason? For a man who don't
Yeah.
want you? Okay, okay.
But I felt like we were missing a lot though, because it wasn't until the
True.
next night when the context was provided by both of the women where we kind of understood it. But when I was watching episode 39 and they were yelling and screaming and carrying on about it, I didn't understand what was so big whoop. Yes, I will say that for Adrian, on Adrian's behalf, it's not fun when somebody thinks you're stupid. It's not fun. And I guess this goes deeper for him
It does.
because
Oh,
the entire season we've been saying like he can't read, he's illiterate, all of these things. And what if he's been like, what if he does have a development challenge
yes.
as a child, and he overcame it, but he still has that thick tongue that he's blaming on the area of Sydney that he's from. Um, but what if these comments now, as innocent as they might have been, really do cut deeper than we would have anticipated?
Oh, I agree. 1,000%. Because he did not care about his business is not, all that stuff, the stuff of the business, anything like he was focused on the dumb part.
Yes, yes, he was focused on the dumb part.
Because he's like, I don't
Uh,
give a damn about that. He said, remember, Sierra trying to bring up the stuff with the business. I think Athena did too. He's like, I don't give a damn about that shit. Let's come back over here.
yes,
But you call me dumb.
yes, he was like zeroing in on that one thing, which was very interesting to me. Let's see. Da, 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 da. I loved it when Billy called Karina Kim K. She was looking like Kim Kardashian. Um, okay, so everybody gets there, and at the end, they leave it. They always leave the last walk-ins for the people who are in trouble or have the most gossip going on. So we see, although Clint and Jackie came in the same car together, production decided to send in Clint first and then Jackie. So they came in separately.
Hmm.
And these two bobos went on somebody's podcast and said that production decided to do it that way. And so I was like, okay. They come in. Everybody is asking questions. Are y'all together? Are y'all sleeping together? What's going on? Da 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 da. And it wasn't until Jackie comes in that it's confirmed. Clint refused to say anything. Idiot. When he gonna stop letting these women run his life?
Never.
Um, but Ryan has a bee up his butthole with regards to them starting the relationship while they were in the experiment. So we had to go,
Mm-hmm.
wait, what? And I'm just like, okay. But then we get dinner is served and we all sit down and TJ starts it off with a toast to Jackie and Clint. I could hear Athena saying all that stuff. No lies told. Adrian is down. Ciao. Deborah, welcome to the chat. And I agree with you because I would have probably said worse. Can you imagine if she wasn't so digmatized with him, what she would have really said? We would
Right.
have had Cleo. We would have had her sister talking about them because the sister's been going off on all of them in social media. Um, so after they do the toast, Ryan then steps up and asks, "What's going on um, between Jackie and Clint?" And they're all trying to get a timeline of how these two got together. So if I remember
Right.
correct, 2 weeks she spent 2 weeks crying over final vows with Ryan, even though she tried to like dismantle his core with her epic lines. Oh sorry, iconic lines. She spent 2 weeks crying. He reached out to her, sent her, the independent woman, a ticket down to Tassie. She admits it's a one-way ticket to go and explore if they can make a go at it. So now it's 2 weeks later, and she has established that she is moving in with him. Because remember, this is a month after the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're supposed to believe, especially after when at the end of her final vows or before her final vows or something like that, she made the comment, I think I will be finding someone very soon. Remember she said that?
Yes.
So that tells me you already had him on the docket. I don't even
Yes.
like, I want to see the flight records. I want to see your boarding pass and what day you got on that plane to Tassie to go and stop with him. And why was it one way? Like if you planning to go back home, you get a round trip, bitch. If you only going to explore if y'all could have a relationship, you get a round trip, bitch. Especially if he paying for it. I don't know. It's not smelling right to me. It's not smelling right. What did you think of that interaction?
It was just my whole thing, and my main issues with Clint. And the reason why is because if you're gonna do your dirt, if you're gonna do what you supposed to walk in there with your head held high and say, look, this is what it is. This is what it is. And this is what we got going on over here. And the simple fact that Ryan confronted you both off camera. Off camera. We have to remember that. He confronted them straight up. Hey, I heard the rumors. What's going on? Just be upfront and honest. And Clint, you gonna sit there and lie? Come on now. Come on now. Let's not do that. Let's not do that part. You are in your 40s, sir. You getting run by a late 20-year-old. I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop. And the simple fact that you let this chick move into your house, right? You invite her to move in, Of course she's gonna say yeah, because that's a massive upgrade. You going from a shared small 3 bedroom apartment to a mansion in Tassie with keys to the Ferrari. I'm
Well,
gonna say
wait, did we
this.
know it was a three-bedroom apartment? We knew she had three roommates.
I, I'm giving her credit that she had her own room. That's what I'm gonna choose to do in this scenario. Either way, either way. Oh, she could have borrowed Sheree's blow up mattress. Either or. But
Oh
you
no.
know, I'm gonna give her that much. So she was gonna take anything as an upgrade. So why wouldn't she? And if I were her, she'd get knocked up right away because Clint deserves everything Jackie has for him because he was messy from day one. Like he was just annoying. How are you gonna sit around here talking about Ryan's house, right? Sir, you are a professional golfer in your mid 40s and you're an entrepreneur. What you have based on your profile is what you should have. Let's be completely honest. So him trying to shit on Ryan like, oh, I know you live in the suburbs of Sydney, and I'm not living in the suburbs of Sydney in a shitty 1 bedroom house. I'm like, well, given your profile and what you've allegedly accomplished, that's not how you
Mhm.
should be living, sir. So it's not a flex. I'm just saying. I'm just
But
saying.
I
Go ahead.
will give Adrian credit. He came on social media and said where Ryan is living is nothing to sniff at. Like, it's the Sydney suburbs. There are some houses there that Clint could not afford.
But you said that though. And I was like, hold up, you in the suburbs? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Sydney is a major city, and the
Yes.
suburbs of any major city is going to be dollars. And that's why I didn't give Ryan much credit this season, but I did give him credit for getting that house on his own before 30.
It's like, let me be nosy. Let me be nosy. I'm gonna be real nosy.
What you looking
Okay.
at?
Okay. So based on so basically the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar are just about even. Let me look.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me do something real quick.
And Marsha, I do remember her saying that she wanted to her husband to be blonde so that she could have blonde babies because she feared that if her children were not blonde, she would not know how to relate to them because her whole
Right.
family is blonde. What kind of trash was that she was saying? Oh my
Right.
God.
So they're about even. So $1 million home in New Zealand is about 922 in Australia. Okay.
Mhm.
So let me go to now.
But Ryan did have a point at the dinner, though. He said that if Jackie wanted to pursue another relationship, she should have left the experiment, but instead she dragged it out with him. And he just wanted to know why. But Ryan, you already know why because she was chatting up somebody else.
Exactly. And real quick, just to give you a perspective, say Clint's home is $1 million in New Zealand, right?
Hmm.
A million New Zealand is 574,000 USD. So when people try to like home shame other people who are homeowners as well, is no different than someone saying like, oh, I have like $1 million house in Texas or something or Oklahoma, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, you might have that in Oklahoma, but you're not having that in California. Two different
No,
things. So
you
so
going to
I did
rent
not.
control in California.
Yes. So that's my whole thing with Clint. Like Clint, you talking about you have this, this, and this, but you got that in y'all's money. Now, does your money translate to other countries? That's the someone told me,
Mhm.
or not someone told me, or I heard online. It's like true wealth is does your money spend the same way every country you go to? Like, do you have the is your money long enough to do what you do in other countries, what you do in your own country?
Mhm.
Just like when Debbie
Yeah.
said, like, I'm judging your house by if you got the neighbors. Same thing. Same thing.
You ain't never gonna let me live that down.
I love it though, because here's the thing though. Ever since you said that, I've been okay. You got a nice house. Do I see neighbors? That has not left me since you mentioned that. I'm like, you do got a point. Like, why am I paying all this money on neighbors?
But not only that, you see these people in these monstrosity houses, and it's like 2 feet away from the landline where their neighbors at. Like you could
Mhm.
barely send the gas man along the side of your house to read your meter. And
Right.
I'm just like, the house is not proportionate to the small lot that you have it on. And that's just
Fair.
weird to me because, like, there are some houses down here in South Florida that are like that, huge houses, but like
Hmm.
you can't. There's no space between the house and the landline,
Right.
and I'm just like, oh my god, you have no property. But I digress. I like
So,
property. I like land.
yes. That's why I said going back to Clint, and then like, yeah, like don't I just didn't like that. I did not like that. Ryan like worked the nerve this season, but like you said, give him credit. He's a homeowner by 30, which is not, and in the suburbs of Sydney.
Yes, yes. Um, and then like, oh my God, the things that roll out of Clint's mouth are so disgusting. So, in addition to the one-bedroom hovel in the Sydney suburbs, he said that Jackie has gone from a Kia to a Ferrari. How so, Sway? You was only driving a Porsche.
Mm,
And why are you insulting Kias? Like I drove a Kia. Like what is like I'm not big on cars unless there's somebody else's. Like I'm not
right.
spending money on a fancy car, and not like we can do it now with all the tariffs or anything. But a car is something for me to get from A to B and back to A again. It's not something that like I spend, like I don't buy fancy cars. I don't take care of my cars, like washing them. Like I
Okay.
It's been years
Uh,
since I washed my current
All
car.
right, Jim. Let's be completely honest here and call thing a thing for people who are new to this channel. Debbie is not going to invest in anything that depreciates. Period.
Exactly.
So,
Yay.
and I agree.
Like everybody's like, oh, I have a Mercedes. Like down here is very car focused. I drive a Toyota RAV4. And my car, I kid you not, just celebrated 20 years from when I just bought it. When I bought it in January of
Yeah,
2005. My
yeah.
Every time I take it to the dealership to get service, my service tech is always asking me to buy my car. And after 20 years, I don't drive it that much because I work from home. But like it's been 20 years and my alternator just failed. I still have, like, the majority of my engine is new with the exception of the alternator and the battery.
Right?
And I was just like, I was suspecting it was the alternator. And so like when I got it down there, they were like, oh yeah, there's a belt that went bad that took out your alternator. And they're like, so is this the first one? I said, check my records. No, this is the first time that that's failing. And he's every time I show up, he's like, you ready to sell your car yet? No. And after this, he's like, I'm getting ready to ask you, right? I said, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. But yeah, it's just crazy. I don't believe in like I'm not a car person. I'm a jewelry person. I'm not a car
Again,
person.
it doesn't depreciate though like that.
I
There's
don't think
I
I
agree.
was
No, I'm
that
saying I agree with
ridiculous.
you.
Yeah, like yeah, it's just, you know, it is what it is. I don't think I was that ridiculous at 29. No. No, I wasn't. A mansion in Taz. Let me tell you, I don't blame Jackie for going down there but
Right.
he got a mansion in Tazzy, but only got one walk-in closet.
Well,
Make it make sense. You ain't that well off.
well, in fairness, he's a man, first of all, and two, he no woman was probably standing like he has somebody long term. I think was it 10 years, and you think
Mhm.
she didn't have closet space? Okay,
She was up there bragging about how he cleared out half the closet for her. Well, all he got is fucking golf shirts and shorts. Um,
exactly,
and and he has a double vanity. Well, so what? I would hope he got a double vanity since he don't have a his or hers walk-in closet. Bitch, bye. If I was moving in with Clint, we would be doing massive upgrades and renovations. It's all for, just take out the equity and let's get it done and make this house a home. I don't know. We are talking about Jackie. Child, what else is there to talk about but Jackie? Um, let's see. Clint is petty. He has no balls. Agreed. But my concern with Clint is why is he always attracted to these same toxic women? Because Jackie is no better than Lauren, with the exception that at least Lauren is accomplished and Jackie seems to still be on the struggle bus. Because her side hustle is jewelry. I think it's JacquelineLeeJewelry.com. That's what she's been trying to push this entire season. And I'm like, so you have a jewelry line, but as soon as you get off masks, you're trying to get a product endorsement for a Tiffany necklace that you've been sporting. I guess Clint gave it to you, but you're trying to get a product endorsement and a collab with Tiffany. They don't want you. They don't
exactly,
want you. I'm worried about the type of woman he seems to gravitate to, and it tells me all I need to know about why he's still single at 59 years old.
exactly,
I had a house that was close to neighbors, and I felt like the mean old man could see into my bathroom for, oh, yes, yes. Sorry I'm late. I had a long day and fell asleep. I know, Farmata, we appreciate you. We know that you're like in a different time zone, and we appreciate any time you spend with us. Do not ever apologize for being late. Um, Debbie Smart, not really. I'm just covetous. Sorry. Um, what else happened? Ryan is just at this dinner trying to hold her accountable for her bad behavior throughout the season, and then also trying to make them confess that they connected during while he was still married to her. And I don't think he's smart enough for Jackie. I don't. But she does start screaming at him at the table, and everybody's like, what? But again, this is what he's been dealing with the entire season, and he chose to stay. Let's see. So after her screaming fest, then they toast Ree and Jeff, and their love story. Um, let me see. Then we start talking about Jamie and I think Dave, and she gives a synopsis on what happened. So basically, after final vows, they go back home to Melbourne because remember, the two of them live in Melbourne. And she noticed that he really wasn't making an effort. And so they decided to meet up for a meal. And she says, I know that you do not see me as the mother of your future children. You are not there for me. You are not like engaging. Let's just call this thing a thing. And, you know, it's done. So she was the one who ended it. Oh my gosh, she has her own shower. That's so true, Marsha E. Thank you for reminding me of that. because I completely forgot because I was still stuck on stupid regarding him making space for her in his walk-in closet. And if you have a man's, short from mansion, in Tassie, I think you should have a his and hers. Walk-in closets with the hers being significantly larger than the his. Hers should have built-in safes for jewelry. His should have the built-in safe for the documents and the spare cash. And there should be at least two water closets because don't nobody want to share a shitting space with him. And her bathroom should have a soaker tub and walk-in shower, and his bathroom should have a steam shower. And that's how I feel. If we want to go there, Clint, that's how I feel. The one small section of your house, right off of your master suite, should be. But I find it deficient. He'd be broke with me. Maybe that's why he don't go after women his own age, because he would be broke with me. Yeah, I'm materialistic. I said it. I do like the finer things of life. That's why I said I'm not being with nobody poor, because I could be fucking poor all by myself. Mm.
And that's the
Uh,
whole thing. The thing is, people want to say, "Oh, materialistic this, that." Well, no, it's not so much that. It's more as like you said, like if you grew up poor, right, and you're trying to like scratch
mhm,
away off broke, why would you get
mhm.
somebody who's broke with you just so y'all can be doubly broke, but y'all broke together? That makes no sense to me.
Farmata, you have a very valid point. Jackie is speaking about his and her bathroom as if they've been together for over 10 years. And she's also speaking of it very possessively. It is now
Yes.
hers, and she been there all of 2 weeks. It's not making sense. Like TJ said, the timeline is not adding up for me. Wendy, what you trying to say? Oh my God. I know I'm a little bit off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, okay, so then we get to Karina and Paul, and he decides to drop all of these theories that he's had since he returned back home to the house that we never saw on this season, so that he could think about what went wrong between him and Karina. And no one at the table is buying his hogwash. What'd you think about Paul? That's right.
Here's the thing with Paul. He acts like this is the first time he got dumped. Then his last girlfriend cheated on him or something and broke his heart.
That's
So
what he
him
says, but
acting
he's a liar. I don't believe him.
true. But the simple fact that he acted this way, I'm like, you're mad because she left you because you were just doing a whole bunch of fuckboy shit. How are you mad at
Mm-hmm.
her? She should have been left you. And then I like the fact I think it was Jamie who said like, Paul, back up. You made multiple mistakes here. And don't try to
Yep.
pin it on just the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you went on a date with another woman. You chose to like, go on that date. It's not just the one thing. And what struck
Mm-hmm.
me is the simple when he said like, "Oh, I made a mistake, and I thought she would just get over it." I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. You like ladies, take note. This is who this man is.
Yep.
He expects.
Yep.
Here's the thing. He's the type of man who expects you to take him back after he cheats on you several times and has a baby on you. He's that kind of dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But listen, I don't know if I told y'all this. Word on the curve is that he has started dating his alternate match, Hannah, the
Yes, I
Barbie
saw
and the
that.
Pretty and Pink. And I was like, wow. So she clocked him from the jump and yet is still getting down with that. Make it
Hmm.
make sense. Make it make sense. Um, let's see. Sierra gets up from the table like after she has 2 bites full of food, wasting the people good food and good salad. They do serve a good salad, I will say that. And lots of liquor, well, wine. And she says that she doesn't want to be there anymore. She walks out. Adrian is upset. But did you notice that he was sitting there sulking at his food? He was actually looking down. I don't know if this was a bad edit or what, but then you see Athena saying to him, "Don't look at me like that." And he says, "What? I wasn't even looking at you. Looking at you how?" And that's her code word for "give me some dick." Because it's
Right.
always this look he gives her. And she's always saying, "Don't look at me like that." Y'all just had an argument where you called him dumb and he took huge offense to it, but yet you are still asking for dick. Make
Mm-hmm.
that make sense. But yeah, that's how we ended off with Athena and Adrian. Still going at it. He says that what she said was low blows at his life. He says, and the truth is now unveiled. Athena says that what she says some of what was said was true, but he hurt her. So again, hurt people hurt other people. She says that she can be the bad guy in his story because he's a fucking devil in hers. Dun 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 dun. Okay, Debbie, I was talking about Clint and Jackie. Wait, oh, materialistic? Oh, okay. But no, I didn't take offense to it because in some ways I am materialistic. I guess not in relation to what other people in my area are materialistic about, but I am. I am. I didn't take offense to it, sweetie. I really didn't. Because like I know me. I know me. And Jamal sits up here calls me bougie all the time. And I own it.
I
I
think
am.
that, I mean, we're all bougie on certain things in our lives, and we want what we want. And there's nothing wrong with wanting better than what you grew up with. I'll put it that way.
Yes, yes. And the thing is that I'm a bit older now. Like I can't be like, sleeping with 15 people in the same bed and like what some people did in their 20s because they liked people like that. Not me. I have never been one to do roommates. Um I just don't find like I don't want anybody in my space. Like, and that even comes to a life partner. It's hard for me to incorporate myself with other people. Um, I I I live well. I've done well for myself. Um, you know, it is what it is, and like as you get older, you just want easier, more. You want more comfort
Hmm.
and more cushion, and that's what I want. Now if I could get more with the help of somebody else, then yes, I will put up on somebody encroaching in my space. But if you want to be in my space without contributing to it, that's not happening, because any life partner that I get with now moving forward, we have to we have to go into our own space. You're not moving into my space. My space gonna get rented out, and that's it, period. Let's go to episode 40. This is the final reunion, y'all. This is the final reunion. So let me see if I can pull this up. No. This Linda Earth. Okay, so let's do this. Share. Okay. We enter the final reunion. And this is the setup. Everybody's there waiting to get reamed. And I mean, I was sad watching this. I was sad watching this. Even with the three bozos that we have here, hold on. Okay. So we have our three experts ready to tell these people about their business and how they behaved this season. So you want to go in order of being pulled up to the couch, Jamal?
We can because I watched it super early before it was taken
Uh-huh.
down. I tried to go back and rewatch it, and I saw I could, this is the episode I kind of really don't remember too well.
Okay. All right. So first up on the couch, we have Jamie and Dave. And Alessandra is just like, I'm so disappointed that your relationship didn't work out. And so they rehash what happened. Well, Jamie does most of the talking and rehashes what happened and how they broke up. And they ask him, and he doesn't have much to say. Um, but he does say that he's ashamed of how he handled himself during, like, when he like emotionally separated from her.
Hmm.
Um, he's ashamed of how he handled himself, and he wish he would have done it better. He says that ultimately Jamie taught him lots of good lessons um, in how negative he was. And she also taught him that he has to speak his mind and not hold things in. Um, let's see. She also wants to know what happened in Melbourne afterwards. And hold on. Jamie just pipes up and said it just wasn't happening. And she, pulled the plug on it. Jamie says that she came to the experiment. She was looking for a man who was trying. Wait, what did I write? She says she was looking at a man who was trying every day, but she knew that he wasn't that into her. She came to the show looking to learn, and she and Dave had a wonderful experience on the show ultimately, and that they're leaving as friends. I don't necessarily 100% believe that
Mm.
because in the Daily Mail final dinner party watch show, I don't think Dave was in her group. I don't remember
Mm.
seeing him in the pictures. So I just wonder about that. I know that Jackie and Clint went to a separate event that I think Lauren from last season, remember Lauren with Jono? Um,
Yes.
I think that's where they did their proposal. Newsflash. They did their proposal that night while the rest of the crew was at a separate watch party sponsored by the Daily Mail. Um, but yeah, it's just a little weird how I think they curated both of their responses to make them look as best as possible because they have a deal with Jamie, and Dave wants to be a travel influencer. He's
He
done
does.
doing
He does.
talking. He wants to be a travel influencer. Good on you, Dave. Hold on. So next up will be these two fools. Hold on, let me update this. No, I gotta get better at this. Jesus Christ. Okay, so next up we have Athena and Adrian. I am really disappointed in the experts that they have never once called him out on his emotional abuse of this woman during the course of this season. They let him get away with his stunt that he pulled because he wasn't in the promo, walking out on the experiment. The Even on the couch when he was emotionally manipulating her, they never once said anything about it. But now John
Exactly.
steps up and he's like, last night at the dinner party was raw and real, and he wants to know what happened. Adrian goes into his sob story about how Athena, they got into a fight and she called him an idiot. He said that he put so much, and he was so disappointed because, especially after he put so much effort into someone that is supposed to care about him. He never said once about caring about her. And then
Exactly.
he said after that, he checked out and lost respect for her. He wants someone to be with him who believes in him, and he feels like she never believed him. John asks Athena if, like, what did she say? And she says, he asked her if she said what was said. And she said, not in that context. She admits to saying some, but not in that context. She says, but there was some truth to it. She said it was around the time of the promo video when he had left. He said,
Hmm.
she said that she went for a walk with Sierra 9 weeks ago. She mentioned his business and that she told Sierra that she felt that he was in the experiment for the wrong reasons. Didn't I tell you these people come on here for the wrong reasons?
Yes.
Hey, she admits that she said hurtful things. But Sierra apologized for going out to dinner with Adrian. And now, weeks later, Adrian is telling her that Sierra is calling him to go out to dinner again and to try to come back onto the experiment with Sierra and Adrian. And I was like, wait, what? Um, so Athena's like, I don't even know what that means. Sierra's on the couch saying that's not what happened. Athena is like, she says this was just another slap in the face from these two. And I was like, oh, okay. Sierra says that next thing you know, Adrian is sending her a bunch of text messages. And in the text messages, it is a Sierra going off on Athena. And Athena was like, she understands how Sierra might feel like she had been robbed of the experience because her relationship with Billy did not work out. But Athena says she also came here for a life partner, and you should have left if you didn't get it. Um, and she then asks Sierra, like, how are you mad at me for the fact that I stayed on? That makes absolutely no sense. Why are you mad at her? And I felt I was on Athena's side with that. John then asked
Same.
Sierra, what did she have to say about it? And Sierra's like, she left when she left the experiment, it was Adrian who reached out to her, not the other way around. Um, he says, she said that he reached out to her to see if she was okay. The coming back together thing was the day after she left. And Sierra said that the wife swap thing might have been a good idea, but she's intimating that it was some kind of joke. I don't think
Right.
so. Billy turns around and is like, what? Sierra says that, hold on. Sierra says that Athena had said those things to her, meaning that Adrian was stupid. That Athena said those things to her because she wanted to leave Adrian. So Athena's like, yeah, it was around the debacle with the promo. We all saw she looked like she wanted to leave because he had left her
Yeah.
and he left
He
his
left.
wedding ring on the table. Um, Sierra then says that Athena told her that her type was tattooed and from Perth. And Sierra's like, oh, that's kind of like Billy because he's from Perth. We should do a wife swap. So why do you keep saying this wife swap thing, Sierra? You're not building a case for yourself. If anything, it's against yourself. Um, then she says, Athena says, so Athena tries to butt in, and Sierra gets pissy and says, "I let you talk, let me talk." I was like, "Oh, okay." And Athena's like not having it. She says, "So you can lie."
That was hilarious.
Yep. Athena
I do
says,
remember that
"Whatever."
part.
Yep. She says, "Whatever was said." But all of the hate words towards me from the text messages were unwarranted. So then John brings it back to Athena and Adrian. They look at their journey in the video montage, and it is damning against Adrian. It truly is, because this was not a cakewalk that they went through. Hold on. Look at this girl. Look at this girl cracking when she hears what he's saying about cheating. He condemned her for cheating. Condemned her for cheating. And then turns around and say, "Yeah, he's cheated." The 2.0 comment, Sierra, see, Athena 2.0 comment when he met his other match was another one where she like was crumbling, and I'm like, oof, oof. Let me see. What else did she find out in that mess? She saw his opinion regarding leaving for the photo shoot, him admitting to cheating, um, him saying that he wanted kids, um, and what else did he say? I can't even remember. It was so lame. Hold on. This is what they winded up with by the end of their montage, with him looking like a bitch, but yet nothing was addressed about him. Nothing. You bring trash on this show to abuse these women. And Jamie said it right when at the end of the dinner party, when she left the dining table and all the women gathered around her, with the exception of Sierra and Katie. She said the men are just trash. And she was right. The men are just trash. But Athena snaps out of this and she says, when she got back home, she realized that she is hot. She is good. Who wouldn't want her or want to be with her? She, while on the show, she didn't feel hot. She didn't feel wanted or liked by Adrian. She felt small, and sometimes she would lash out from the feelings of rejection and hurt. She didn't feel good about herself in the experiment. She doesn't think from the beginning he was ever into her. She was never his person, and he wasn't her person. Um, because if he was, he wouldn't make her feel like this. We also saw in the clip where we saw her match Tim, and her comment saying that he asked more about her in one afternoon than Adrian has asked in weeks on the experiment. And that was another home truth for her. You must have forgotten that shit, girl. Um, let's see. He says he knows for a fact that in time she's going to meet the person that does as much. Uh, I can't understand what he said, but he said in time she's gonna meet the person that will love her. Basically, they're not going. I say to myself, they're not going to rip Adrian a new one for what he's done to this girl. Um, and then I say he didn't even wait for her to get up off of the couch. He got up and walked in front of her and went back to the big section of. Adrian is a pig. He's just an uncouth pig. And good luck to you, Adrian, and your gym bag business. I hope it makes you a lot of money, and you can get a speech therapist who could help you with that thick tongue of yours. And Athena, go back and be with your son and see if you could find Tim and find out what a real man would treat you like, because this experiment was dog shit for you. It showed you in the worst light possible. Ugh. Any feedback on them, Jamal?
And see with these two, like these, although they provided some good moments towards the end, like Adrian with his commentary, he actually for a couple of weeks we were kind of on his side with the things he was thinking. We agreed, but when you look at
Mm-hmm.
them overall, we all knew they were just there for the sex, especially Athena. Let's call a thing
Yeah.
on that. Because she's been
Mm-hmm.
miserable. She's been miserable since the vows, the first vows, when he said like don't worry, I don't have any children. That was it then and there. She should have been gone, but she chose to stay because she thought he was hot. And then also, ladies, this is coming from a man. Never let a man know right away how hot you think he is and keep gushing over
Yep.
him because he knows that he has you and that you'll put up
Mm-hmm.
with anything just because you think when you do that, you place the man on the pedestal above you. And once you've done
Yep.
that, you've lost all your leverage.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
was her first mistake. Her second mistake was not leaving after he said,
Yes.
"Don't worry, I don't have any children."
Uh-huh. Well, I would have given him the benefit of the doubt of that from the vows. And I would have even given him the benefit of the doubt at the reception when he found out, for real, because he would have needed time to process. But when they was on the honeymoon and they got that truth box, and he was like, I just don't want to be a stepdaddy to your kid. That's when she should have picked her happy ass up and went back home. Susan says, I agree. She took a lot of abuse. Yes. Farmata says, I was expecting the producers to show the friends' family fights for these videos. Nope. Nope. Because that would have exposed even more of how
Right.
crummy and manipulative not only Adrian is, but also his friends and family. Right? I mean, Athena and Adrian. Okay. And let's see, she should have never even given him a chance when he said that about her son. I would have walked. Yes, yes. But like she said in one of her confessionals, when she's at home being a mom, there's no time to date. So she was trying to get the most out of this opportunity. um but again, I will say this over and over again for this season: how is your son going to look at this? Ugh. Anywho, next up on the couch is Beavis and Butthead. Um, Shillings is doing this one, and she's like, she want to know what's the new information that they got to fill them in on. And Jackie says that final vows things ended pretty badly. She was sad for about 2 weeks, and then Clint um reached out to her and they started developing their friendship and over their shared relationship experiences in the experiment and how disappointed they were. She flew down with a one-way ticket to meet Clint and they got along really well. Billy says sorry because he is laughing at this. Um, Jackie is saying, why is it so funny? All of you did the same thing with this experiment, which is true. But this was a controlled environment. You went and got
Right.
up with a stranger down to his house. He could have killed you and buried you outside for them two white dogs to shit and piss on you every day. But I
And here's my whole thing
digress.
with these. Here's my whole thing with these two people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, women are yes, a women tend to be more adventurous than men in these situations, but at Clint's big age, right? At his big
Mm-hmm.
age, are we really supposed to believe that this is the first time Jackie is going down to visit you and Tazzy? Are we going with that? Because most women I know would not buy a one-way ticket to another country. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? It's
But
just
she didn't.
weird.
He bought the ticket for her.
He bought okay, so he bought the one way, right? But even
Mm-hmm.
then, that's still not smart. Like you said, he could have been a murderer or something, and
Yep. You got a
locked her in
body
the
around
basement.
trail. And it could be an open ticket. It's going to cost you a little bit more. It'll be open for 6 months, and I can make up my mind whether I want to go back or not.
Exactly.
Um, Shillings asked Clint how serious is the relationship for him, and he says it's very serious. Ryan says that he was living with Jackie when Clint started talking to her. Ryan wants to know when did they first start talking? She says that's not the case and they did not start talking when she was married to Ryan. Shillings wants the confirmation. Ryan said they exchanged numbers the first week he came into the experiment, meaning Clint.
Right.
Ryan said he knows for sure that Jackie called Clint at 3 a.m. during after one of the couch sessions to rag about the experts. He says he asked her if she was thinking about meeting up with Clint. She said no, she really loves Ryan and she doesn't want to disrespect him. Then Jackie goes on to say, well, what do you think about, me being with a 50, what is that? No, a 40,
A
44
43.
year old
Right.
person. He says after she told him all this stuff about how she wouldn't disrespect him and how much she loved him, he says, you then sent me texts with the same thing in them. She says, but I thought you said it was on the phone. He said, yeah. And right after you hung up, you sent me the same bullshit on text. I have it in my phone. I have
That was
evidence.
hilarious.
Um, then he goes on. He says, it's a combination with this relationship or something like that. His question is, the mountain of evidence of actions, words, contradictions that he has against her. Did she ever really want to be in the relationship with him, Ryan? She says yes. Shillings then switches to the video because they know that this girl is lying. Um, Shillings then asked Jackie, what was it like for you to watch that video? Because she went through all of the emotions on the couch. She says it was pretty sad. It took her back to where she was feeling in that moment, very hurt, and that she could never get through to Ryan on anything. He says that she took no accountability, and then she says, "Stop interrupting me." She felt like it was never her. It's something with Ryan. He would deflect, and you can't get into him, or you can't get through to him at all. Um, Shillings then asked Ryan how did he feel watching it back, and he says that there were times that he was indelicate, and he takes full accountability for that because they did show him saying that she gives good head, and no, he would not place her as number one of being beautiful on the picture challenge, and a bunch of other stuff. They showed that he didn't look that great about, um he says that in week 2, she said she wanted a different man. Week 3, you were texting another man. So there are so many examples of her being dissatisfied with Ryan, but yet she still stayed, and he doesn't understand that. The criticisms
Exactly.
were endless. Um, why did you continue to write stay? He
Uh-huh.
asked her. She said that she didn't want to throw it away. She wanted to give it a go with somebody that she was supposed to be compatible with. She was sweeping her feelings under the rug with the hope that he would change. He says that's not what the experiment is about. She starts getting agitated and she says, I tried talking to you, and every time you shut me down. He says, now you're yelling, and that's not going to solve anything. Um, he says, you say one thing and you do another. She says, you can't shame me, but in the end, your behavior never came up to scratch. There was never any communication. Oh my God.
She's unhinged.
John then asked Clint, um, oh, wait, hold on. Yes, there's another one here. He then asked Clint, look at this man. Tell me if this doesn't look weird. Like, doesn't he? I hate to say this. I find it very gross. Like, I could barely tolerate him with Lauren, but with Jackie, this is just weird. Um, John asked Clint, now that he's in a relationship with Jackie, what is his take? And this idiot says watching the video is actually exactly what Jackie explained was going on, and he can't believe the behavior of Ryan to a female.
Right?
Billy asks Clint if he doesn't see any alarms with Jackie's behavior, and Clint says not at all. I've fallen more for Jackie after watching that video. He is a clown.
Yes.
He is a clown.
But you know the thing is though,
Uh,
he said the similar things about Lauren.
yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
I couldn't take him seriously.
Hold
He
on.
acted the same way with Lauren.
I see Jackie going psycho on Clint. I'm just here for the news later. Yup. I don't think that engagement is real. I really don't. I think they're doing it for clicks and likes and to launch whatever business they're doing or to
Right.
promote her jewelry business. That's why Clint went for Jackie. Young and stupid. Young and stupid. And she gonna stand there and tell that man her love language is starting a business. Bitch, what?
I mean, hold on, you know
Um
what else it is though? Here's another
what?
thing. And this
Mm,
is I don't mean this any disrespect to Jackie. I know she like got her law degree and everything, but here's the thing. Like you said, she's young and dumb, right? She's
yeah.
easily controlled, and he has the financial upper hand. Whereas Lauren
Yeah.
was a little bit more equal, as she actually owned her own business and was her, her own boss. So he could
Mhm.
manipulate her. She wasn't gonna fall for any of that. Jackie, he saw Jackie knowing that she's young and looking for a come up, of course he's gonna take advantage of that because he can control her.
Yep.
Because, ma'am, and like again, no disrespect, it was you and two other roommates, right? You're
Mhm.
moving into his world in a different country. You have no support if things go south because he bought your ticket there. He's not gonna buy you a ticket back unless he chooses to throw you out. And
Mm.
that's a dangerous place to be in her position. It really is.
Yep. It is, but she'll learn. But then again, don't forget Jackie's has some sort of legal degree. She might not be a practicing barrister, but
Right.
she has a legal degree. So she'll figure out a way to get Clint. He deserves everything though that she's gonna give him.
Yeah, because he signed
Um,
up for it, in my opinion.
yep, yep. John then asked Jackie what she learned from the experiment. She says she's learned a lot about herself. She's the one that she knows that she can be confusing and that she shouldn't try to change someone. She can take the challenges that she had during the experiment and learn how to make her relationship successful in the future. John asked Ryan the same thing, and he says he's learned so much more about sensitivity relating to the feminine side of the relationship because that's the fabric that holds things together. He still does feel betrayed. Um, and in the end, they do nothing to hold Jackie accountable for anything. And I thought that this segment was so gross. So fucking gross. Next up on the couch is these two buffoons, Karina and Paul. Um, Alessandra takes the lead on this one. And she says it's very clear from last night that Karina chose not to be in the relationship anymore. And she asked, where are the two of them currently? Paul says that he heard Karina's decision. He was heartbroken after being home for about 4 days. He was able to reflect on the whole experiment and all the arguments that they've had and all the issues that they've had. The question he asked himself was, were we as compatible as he thought that they were? Alessandro's like, she wants to know what makes him incompatible with Karina. He says she couldn't take on much criticism. And throughout the show, it's always blown back in his face. And she's been judgmental. His major concern was that she wasn't showing her true self because she worries about perception. Um, he wondered if she was making her decision based on what other people thought of her, and that's not being fully authentic. Um, and he gives an example because Alessandro was like, "What's wrong with that? Give an example." And he says, Karina told him that she didn't want people to think that she wasn't the type of person who didn't stand for what she believed. Alessandra said, again, what is wrong with that? He says that she should make her decisions on what she truly wants and not what other people are going to think of her decision. Alessandra says the common denominator is in that equation is that she is standing by her beliefs. Paul starts speaking over Alessandra and she puts him in his place.
This is where I kind of zoned out. I was doing something else,
Mm-hmm.
and also because he was getting on my nerves. Because everything he said, I was like, "Well, sir, you're taking no accountability for what you did to this woman on every level, and you're mad because she chose not to be with you based on your own behavior." So I was tuning him out for sure.
But, okay, I'll play devil's advocate here. Honestly, he is correct when he said he tried to bring her issues up and it just kept on getting blown back at him because he was too stupid in the way how he was doing it.
True.
She is insecure and she is rude and she is judgmental and she is a snob.
You know what it was, and my thing is he he was too defensive to work to actually play this off because had he come at her like, you know what, these are the things I'm seeing. These are some of my concerns. He just went straight on, full on. Let me just trash you to defend myself.
But another thing
That's
he
how it
did
was.
too, he would only bring up these concerns when he got in trouble. So of course it's going to
That
get
too.
blown back on you because it's going to look like a deflection.
True.
So like he's just stupid. And then of course, like some of the things that come out of his mouth sound really weird, and you got to like really think about it because of the language thing. And then he talks so fast, but he's a total idiot. Um, Jeff from the couch asks Paul, he says, the mistakes that you made through the experiment and she forgave you. I don't think she was worried about what other people thought. Jamie then chimes in and says, she really rode for you. Karina says that she's been so genuine throughout the whole experiment. He threw her under the bus multiple times. He never reassured her. He made her feel insecure. She tried to stick it out and make it work. Oh my gosh, she's just sitting there with the victim card, and it was so nauseating. Um, Alessandra picks this moment to look back on their journey. John is watching Paul and his reactions throughout the entire video montage, which I thought was very interesting. So once it's finished, John asks Karina, how does she feel? She says it brings up uncomfortable situations. It reaffirms her decision. Alessandra asks Paul, how does he feel after seeing it? He says, it was a lot. He knows he made a few mistakes along the way. Karina has also made these mistakes, and she's done things to him. John says, Paul, I've had enough. You have to stop playing the victim. Look at me when I'm talking to you because I'm not going to give you another chance. Um, we're going to set this straight. So, Daddy John means business now. He tells him that he needs to change. He's seen a guy who is inconsistent, broken his partner's heart, not once, not twice, but three times. First, he punched a hole in the wall. That's violence. No excuse. You did it, and you shouldn't have. The second thing, you talk outside of your relationship to Athena without telling Karina about it, threw her under the bus. That's betrayal. The third thing, you get a chance to grow your bond by saying, no, I'm not going to meet with that other woman for a date. And you say, what? I'm curious. I'm going to go. Are you hearing me? This is him talking to Paul like he was going
Right.
off on Paul.
Right. He's
Paul,
breaking it down to him like Paul's five.
yep. Paul says yes. And he's like, anyway, you look at it, as you look at it, it's bad. And I don't like to sit this close and watch someone blame another person who's been on the receiving end of that, saying she's not compatible just made me sick. This must be a wake-up call for you. I was like, wait, what? If y'all felt all of this, why the fuck y'all ain't throw him off when he punched a hole in the wall, the first transgression? But wait, no, they couldn't because they had a contract with Karina. Okay, so you left her exposed to this dude for the rest of the experiment
Mm-hmm.
because you had a contract with her. Okay. Alessandra then asked Karina how she feels. Karina wanted the fairy tale ending and she didn't get it. It's disappointing. She wishes he would have switched on a little bit more and considered how it would have made her feel when choosing what he did. Paul says sorry. He mumbles it. She questions whether he wanted to be in the experiment for the right reasons. He says he was loving spending time with her. He made some terrible mistakes. He knows he's not perfect, as much as it's hard to hear. He knows that there are things that he needs to improve. John wants to know if she took away any lessons from the experiment. She says the biggest thing is to trust her gut and to be more confident within herself. She knows that she is very chill and laid back, and she tolerates a lot more than she should, but she needs to be a lot more firm. I noticed that they ain't asked him if he learned anything, because I guess not.
Right.
But yeah, that was a whole waste of time. Because again, you're chastising him, but it's a day late, a dollar short. And I was like, Paul, you've ruined your career over this. You have ruined your career over this. But anyway, I hope it works out for you, dude. Next up on the couch is the success story of the season. Rian, what's his name? Jeff?
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
Did you pay attention to them?
Like like barely. Like Paul and Karina and these two are barely paying attention to because and like I said, I like Rhea and Jeff, but just not with this cast. And I know that's bad. And it's because like they just went so smoothly. Like what more is there? Like what
Yeah.
you're they're not giving us like any like real content to work with. But as I said, I liked Jeff when they were at the dinner parties because he was asking all the right questions. I'm not gonna take that
Yes.
away from him, you know.
Yes.
And then Teresa's defense, she gave good insight in her talking heads, her commentary. So for me, these two just didn't work with this cast. They would have worked better on like Mash Pillow Talk or something. I would have enjoyed them.
I
But
will
as
give
far
you
as
this. she was also good with Elliot, and not many people were good with Elliot.
True.
Because during the wife swap, she had Elliot, and he was actually tolerable for me with her. I didn't like him with anybody else. But apparently Jamie likes him too. Like they've really found like a different person, which makes me think he came in as the douchebaggery king on the Bucks night. And so now he's like this really great guy doing all these funny TikToks. Like which one is it? And
This
did
is
you
when
notice
stuff
at
like
the very end, John was hugging Elliot?
see, and that makes me wonder like what how much was left on the cutting room floor. But
Um,
in Elliot's defense, though, in his defense, he was very different with Veronica and Reed versus Lauren. And then we found out Lauren was a bitch. Sorry, it's just the truth.
yeah,
So,
he handled it wrong though.
oh, I a thousand
So he was
percent
being just as much of a bitch.
he was. But when you see how Lauren really was, it allows to me it allowed Elliot to be a little bit more human than just the asshole he was. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't giving him no credit for nothing. He got what he deserved with Veronica and Lauren.
Mm, he treated Lauren poorly. Like I said, he treated Lauren badly. I agree.
Mhm.
But when Lauren comes back and we see how she was with Clint, it makes me wonder how much was cut out of their segments. I just playing devil advocate on this one.
True, but he didn't like he stayed there for like 2 days. That's it.
True.
Oh wow, you're still going. So sorry, Mrs. Shaw. I was going to leave a comment on replay, but hello everyone. Hi Tracy. We're wrapping up though. But I'm gonna need you to watch the replay because I'm asking nicely. Thank you. I think Rhea and Paul are cute. They are, but who told him to get this stupid haircut, Fred Flintstone haircut, to come to the reunion? Um, okay, so Shillings is so excited at having a success story. She wants to know how it's going. Jeff is like, everything's going well. Everything they did in the experiment, it translated to the real world. Shillings wants to know what's the secret that they have because they can't figure it out. um, and she says, because a lot of couples struggle with the transition from the experiment to the real world.
True.
And how did they find it easy? She said, Ree says, Jeff always says what he's going to do. He never drops the ball. He's very consistent. They're both very, very consistent with each other. Jeff makes her feel calm all the time, and that's why it's been so easy outside the experiment as well. Shillings then runs the video. Ree says that it was so awesome to watch that again. Shillings wants to know uh, that was a month ago. Their vows, their final vows, it was a month ago when they were talking about falling in love with each other. Where are they today? Jeff says, we haven't said that yet. John says, don't leave us hanging. Jeff is then bullied into telling this woman that he's in love with her. Like, that should have been, if they never said it before, that should have been something private. I hope this was scripted. They should
Mm-hmm.
not have given that to us.
Nope.
Anyway, she kisses him. She says it back. Another kiss. Everybody's clapping for them. Schilling says it's wonderful. I swear she wets her panties every time something like this happens. John asks, how does it feel now that they've added the words? She says it feels incredible. She's just been waiting for someone to say it. Like, who the fuck were you waiting to say it? Like Elliot from the other couch? Oh my God, girl, stop. Jeff says it feels amazing to be honest. Shillings asks Jeff, what does the future hold? He says enjoying time together, going on holidays together, living together, and enjoying the relationship. Um, Ree says she enjoys his company and to be in the present moment. She wants to settle down and have kids one day. Um, she says next year they'll be traveling and enjoying each other's company. Schilling says married at second sight for Jeff. And it's kind of a joke because remember they had like I don't know friends with benefits relationship before coming on the show together and being matched. Um, let's see. Jeff says it's been an amazing journey and thank you. The expert, and he thanks the experts for matching them. He says timing is everything and it was right for them. And then they kiss again. Um, I think their situationship the previous year before the
Hmm.
experiment, I think that helped pave groundwork for their relationship because there was an attraction. I
Right.
think I I think that's why it helped them translate out into the real world because like she already been there, done that, you know. He gave her the key. All right, girl.
Exactly.
Make
They
it
came
last
in
this
with
time.
the base. They came with the base, and it was just something they both admit when they met they both came out of long term relationships, and they really
Yep.
weren't mentally emotionally prepared to be in a full on relationship with someone else. And like he said, it was just all timing.
Wait, hold on. What is Susan? I think Ree and Paul are cute. So, you know she made a mistake. I hope she made a mistake. It's Ree and Jeff.
Rhea and Jeff.
But yeah, like I hope they have a successful relationship. I hope that they get more comfortable on camera because it seems like that's the way they want to go with this by making special appearances and stuff like that. But I still wonder of all the people on this season, you had one couple that was successful, but yet you're not really pushing them as much as the two girls that had failed relationships. Make that make
It,
sense.
who are you talking about? Jamie and
And Karina.
okay, I can explain this. It's because Jamie was the personality of the show. Karina is stunning and is going to be a great hair model if she doesn't mess it up. And Ree and Jeff, they're a cute couple, but they're only good as a couple. They can't work independently because they don't really have um, oomph. I'll put it that way. They're not as marketable as Jamie and Karina. That's why.
We are not invested in their relationship because they are boring. We was invested in Jules and Cam. We was invested.
Again, well, the reason why everyone was invested in Jules and Cam is because both of them, like independently, would dive headlong into the mess and didn't care. They would get into the mess, especially Jules, and say, "I would tell everybody else, I dare you to say something."
Because
Jules
my
and
man got
Cam, let's call
my
it think
back.
a thing. Let's call it think a thing. Jules and Cam had boss energy on their own. Rhea
Hmm.
and Jeff don't have that.
No, no. And Cam did carry a big cricket bat. Ain't nobody was fucking with him. Because remember, he was a professional cricketer.
Yes,
Nobody was fucking with him. And look how genuine he was, a professional athlete for years. And he came on this show and he took that shit seriously with Jules. And we get this douchebaggery with Clint, another professional athlete, and it was just like, what the hell? How disappointing. How
uh,
fucking disappointing.
well, basically, if you look at Clint, and this is an odd pairing, but Clint gives you the odd pairing of someone's dad but a fuckboy. Does that make
I think
sense?
he's like somebody's uncle that always touches girls inappropriately.
See, I wasn't trying to go that route. It wasn't me, Clint. It was Debbie. Just so you know. I just said you a middle-aged fuckboy. She's in a whole different direction.
That's how I feel though. He just grosses me out. He really does. He grosses me out. I would not feel comfortable around Clint. And I'm a big old age and I would not feel comfortable around Clint. But anywho, I predict that there will be legal action taken against Clint by his wonderful fiance. I believe their engagement is fake. I believe their whole relationship is fake. I believe doing the business together is fake. Um, that's going to be a whole hot mess.
I mean, Jackie's involved. How can it not be a hot mess? I'm sorry. It's just the truth.
Hmm. But we shall see as they struggle to stay relevant now that the show is over. Let's see what happens. Well, that's it for season 12. Thank you for thugging it out with us for these 3 months. We truly appreciate it. We love you for it. And thank you for those of you who signed up during MAFS. We are a small channel with very unique opinions on things. But this show, though it's not very popular here in the United States, I love this show. I dedicate 3 months of my life every year to this. I have sucked Jamal into the mess. And for those of you who came along with us on the ride, we really thank you so, so, so much. If you want to look back on our commentary for previous seasons, you know where the playlists are. We have several playlists for all the shows that we talk about, that we have conversations about. I won't even say that we review them at times because sometimes we just have our opinions on what we see. Yes, Tracy, the end. Why you gotta be so sad though? Why you gotta be so sad? Oh my God, Jamal. Any final thoughts on this season?
Hopefully we get better characters next year.
What? Get better what? Get better
Characters.
characters?
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I think they went wrong with their casting this year. And they didn't have the scripts in place to take the show where they wanted to go. Like you could see they were trying to do a cheating scandal and it didn't work out. You had too many unpredictable characters. Jackie, Ryan, Adrian was very unpredictable, and then the biggest loser of all, Dave. I think he would have been so much better with Jamie, and I'm not sure why he clocked out. Everybody is saying that it was because of his dad, or he didn't like how Jamie started acting up at the couples retreat and getting all loud and everything. But y'all forgetting that he was right there behind her with his finger pointing in other people's faces and shouting just as loud as she was, and then running and telling Clint, "Yo, Clint, I don't think Lauren likes you like that. She's saying this and she's saying that." He was full on in the mess with her. And then they're saying, "Oh, well, he did something with Veronica." I don't think that either. I don't think that either. He was treating Veronica just the same way that he was treating Jamie. And he wasn't fucking neither one of the two of them. So there you go. You've got me hooked on this Hot Mess Express. I love it and I miss it whenever it's over. Well, Tracy, like I told you, they have a new show that's been created by the production company that does maths in Australia, and it's called Love Triangle. And I watched the first, I think, about 20 minutes of it, and it has on an old cast member from season 6 of maths, a guy named Mike, who was with this blonde haired girl with big curly hair, and he was brutally honest with her. He was not her therapist. And by the end, he had fallen in love with her, but he had done so much damage to her that she had to break off with him. And he admits in love triangle that was the one and only time that he fell in love. He is now 50, alone, bitter, and on this thing to do damage. And it's basically three people who are, so like if it's a guy, he's matched with two girls and he's only texting these two girls. So then he will decide based on the text messages who he wants to date. Now you know that this is going to end in disaster.
Of course.
So I might take another look at that just to be disgusting. But yeah, the Australians know how to do TV. They know how to do TV. So, guys, until next year, when we have season 13, Maths Australia or Married at First Sight Australia season 13, we bid you a fond adieu. Jamal, until next time.
Of course.
All right, guys, have a great
Bye.
weekend and we'll see you next week.